Ladies and gentlemen, we got another day, another lift. Thursday, we've got leg day today. This is leg day 2, and it's a lighter one. I deliberately prioritize my leg days volume more than other things. What I mean by that is that I do less volume. I suppose that you could argue that I'm prioritizing volume less, but the reason why I have low volume is because of how demanding training legs really is. So, in my opinion, keeping a lower volume on my leg days is helping me progress over the long term. I feel like I can do a lot more volume on my upper body, and I think that's a lot due to me doing a lot more compound movements, compound lifts when I train my legs versus when I train my upper body. You know, I've got a few isolated exercises in there. I've got some very stable unilateral work, you know, things like that. Versus when I'm training legs, it's like, let me do some squats, let me do some RDLs, let me do some leg curls, let me do sissy squats. You know, they're very compounded movements. They're big, they are, you know, large systems moving all at once. So that's all to say that today we've only got 4 exercises, which is 4 exercises, and that's 4 sets as well, unless you're counting my kind of like myo rep shenaniganery that I sometimes, well, that I frequently implement into my training. So that's all we've got. It's 4 sets, and some people are like, oh my god, 4 sets? I do 4 sets of squats, and that's the first exercise I do. I'm like, you're doing too much. That's what you're doing. You're doing too much. And I am not doing too little. So here's the principle, right? If you're doing a set, and then you do another set, or another set, if you see a drop off in performance from one set to the next, those sets are less effective. Can we agree? I think we can agree. So, if you're still doing those sets, you are doing less effective work per set. Now, if we look at that and we go, okay, well, instead of doing 2 sets or 3 sets, what if instead I break those sets up over the course of my week? What if I do 1 set today and I do 1 set in like 2 days and then another set in 2 days after that, instead of doing 3 sets on one day? What you'll find is that on each of those days, you're able to rather consistently perform at the level that first set is, because you've given yourself a decent amount of rest. Now, there's a lot of other factors, you know, to equate in when you're doing that kind of stuff, but that's the principle of high frequency training, something that has been proven now to be very effective. So I would definitely recommend it if you are someone who is a multi-set enjoyer and you do see a drop off of, you know, if you're seeing a drop off of 2 reps between, you know, set 1 and set 2, like, you're doing too much, man. You either aren't resting long enough, which is fair enough, you maybe need to get in and get out of the gym, or you just ain't doing, you know, your performance has just dropped off. That's all there really is to it. So that's a bit of wisdom for you, a bit of knowledge. You can take it or you can leave it. You can believe me or you can't. But at the end of the day, I found great success myself after I learned that high frequency was the way to go. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I really wish I could do more sets. However, I don't really have the time to dedicate to that. And I went, okay, well, here's what I can negotiate with myself. How much of a priority is the gym? Okay, yeah, it's pretty big. So, how many days do I want to train? And this was like, you know, this is something you can negotiate when you're going from like 1 day to 2 days, 3 days to 4 days, whatever it may be. If you add an extra days of training, you can effectively reduce the number of things you do on any day by a margin, right? You can decide that yourself. So for me, I remember I used to be doing like, you know, 6 exercises a day, right? And I was doing that 4 days a week. And then I was like, oh, this is a lot, man. And that is too much work. You can't train to failure that well on that many sets, especially if you were going to do multiple of them. So then I went, okay, let me negotiate this. If I were to train an extra day, I could reduce the amount I do on each day, and then you can go from there. And then you explore what that's like. Maybe that's 4 sets on one day, 5 sets on another. Amazing. That's where I'm currently at now. It also gives you the opportunity then to reallocate. Be like, okay, I want to train as much of my body as possible. How can I do that? What's effective? What's going to work for me? And then how much do I want to prioritize those things? So if it's something that's a high priority, you may want to do 3 sets of it during the week. For instance, if you're doing 1 set a day. If it's something that's a lower priority, maybe just 2 or 1, because you can see growth on both of those levels. There is no certain amount of volume that you need to grow. There is a certain amount of intensity you need to reach, because remember, the adaptation, of getting stronger is a direct response to the need to get stronger. And you'll only ever need to get stronger if there's a stimulus. And there'll only ever be a stimulus if you are training with high intensity. Training with high volume is just going to fatigue you. That's all it's going to do. Training with high intensity is the way to go. That's my little spiel about training. Let's talk about today. We have got something that I'm still not exactly the most happy with since swapping gyms. That is my Sissy squats. The leg press in this gym doesn't quite have the same range that I would like. I can't really get to the super deep position, so we just kind of make do with that. But I do enjoy Sissy squats for biasing the rectus femoris musculature, which is only able to be biased when you have the hips in extension and the knees in flexion, so it's quite a difficult thing to get going. But I really like Sissy squats. I'd say they're one of the things that is the reason my legs are big enough, big as they are. After that, we'll be doing some calf raises, because we can just do them in the same exercise, in the same, machine. That's the word. Normally I would do calf raises last, but because I don't want to come back to the machine if I'm already on it, I do my set of Sissy squats, I do my little extra bit there, and then I go into my calf raises. Not immediately, I obviously warm up properly for that and everything, but calf raises. And then we've got 2 more exercises, which I do superset, because quite simply put, I can do too many reps on them, and I'm not a fan of that. They are the adduction and the abduction machines, the sus machines. So we start off with abduction, so we're going knees away, because that's harder, and then we do adduction. And the reason why I superset them is because if I were to do them from base, I can just do too many reps. It's like doing cardio. So I superset them because I can do so many reps, because basically I've maxed out the machine, and the way that the machine is set up, there is a walkway, so to speak, a little standing pad between the machine and where the weight is. The weight is not behind the machine, it's in front of it. And so I cannot pin any weights into the machine because the walkway is in the way. So I'm having to see if I may be able to find a pin that I would be able to use. For those of you who aren't aware, a pin is just something that you put into a stack of a machine, so in its weight stack, and it allows you to add extra plates to the machine itself. That's what I really want, because I'm so over training the way I am with these. And I'm not going to swap them out for anything because they're really good, but I can currently do 8 to 9 reps, and I believe today in my session I'm pushing 10 reps on 91 kilos. I need to be lifting 140. I need to be doing 120 at least, I feel. Bring those reps down. So I'll need to invest in that. That'll be something that I need to do. But in the meantime, you'll see me suffer for at least 1 week, and we'll see what happens in the next few. If I'm able to find a pin that works, or maybe the gym has one, I just don't know where it is. We'll see. And that's the whole thing. That's all we'll be doing today. There won't be anything else. Make sure we cross the road nice and safe. And so that's everything. That'll be start to finish, 4 exercises, and then we are done. Absolutely done. And that is a serious amount of sun, my gosh. So, that's everything. Start to finish, it'll take us a while because we'll be recording, but be a great session. Main priorities, just train to failure. Nothing else really matters. Train to failure, technique's good. Fucking happy days. Anyway, off to the gym, and I'll see you guys in whatever machine I'm able to get access to first. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We are warming up for our Sissy squats. The machine just became available. I'm wearing the baggiest pants in the world. Get a load of this. These are seriously baggy. I'm a massive fan. I wanted to get something like this for leg days. I see all the big people wearing them, so I want my own. Right, we are working up to 82 kilograms today. I've already done a few warm-up sets. So we're gonna go up to 73. This might be our last warm-up set before we actually get into stuff. And now again, this machine is not great because I cannot get full depth on it, unfortunately. Also, I want to just monitor what you guys can see because I have not seen that yet. I'm unfamiliar with the playback at the moment. But again, doing sissy squats in this, it's a little strange, but it's one of the only ways to actually load a sissy squat, in my opinion. Okay, and we go down nice and slow. So, the way I've actually set this up is I have bottomed out the machine itself. I can't like go any closer to the machine. And I am putting my feet really low on the pad because I want to make sure that I basically had a bit of an injury last week where I actually turn this so you guys can see, so we can learn together here. So here's the pad, right? I put my feet low down here because when you're in the machine like this, your knees will go further over your toes if your legs are lower down without putting a lot of force through your spine. Because if you imagine, if I lower the weight just real quick, drop it all the way down here. If I push up, and actually you'll need to turn a little bit just to see me. So I'll put it there so you can see a little bit of the pad. If my feet are low down and I'm here, when I get to the bottom of the movement, my knees are in this position here. So that's super, super bent, which is really good because it means that I have gotten a lot of depth out of it. Versus if I were to put my feet up here and then go up, do you see how, like I'm doing a gojo, I'm like floating. I'm not sure if you can see it very, very well, but I'm putting so much load through my actual spine because that's the point of contact that I have. It's all the way back here. Like again, look at this. My feet are all the way at the top. And now when I have to go down, I have to load through the top of my spine, which is not what you want. I got a bit of an injury a few weeks ago because I did that. Because again, I was still working out my technique. So highly would not advise. Keep your legs low and just go for whatever you can get the most knee flexion out of. Sorry, I accidentally clicked end record instead of adjusting you guys. So, what are the aims here? Well, I think we're looking for 4 reps out of this total. Let's have a see. Yeah, 82 kilograms, 4 reps. Which I think is very doable. Again, this week may not really count towards my, my total rep count because I'm changing my technique a little bit after the conversation at the start of the week about pause reps with the coach here. So I do intend to implement that here. Now, one of the reasons I like doing pause reps on this movement is because it's a super technically demanding movement. So is a squat. But when you get to the bottom position of this, I really don't want my knees to like do something weird, right? Because that would be terrible. But for the most part, this is a very safe movement, but I am loading it. So, you know, we're entering unknown territory, so to speak. But yeah, the main aim is going to be 4 reps of this. If I can do that, that's wonderful because that means I'm back on track from, you know, having lost a little bit of strength from the calorie deficit. But that will be all equated to technical change. It won't be equated to like actual strength development, which I hope you know is important. The differences between that, by the way, because we are just resting up now, is that if I change my technique, then any progress I've made in terms of reps or time is due to the technique and it's not due to the actual, you know, mechanisms of progressive overload or anything of that nature. So just hope you guys are aware of that. If you change your technique frequently, you're not progressing, you're just moving the weight around differently. So if you want to actually progressively overload, keep the same technique and try and make it the best that you can. That's all I really have. In any case, we are going to prepare ourselves. We're on 82, good. And I'm just gonna rest up just for a little bit more without talking, and then we will get things rocking and rolling, I think. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 100 miles in running, playing at the moment. And we're about to get into sissy squat set. Bracing is very important in this exercise, as any, you know, unstable movement, squats, you know, deadlifts, anything like that. So, let's get it. Okay. Again, on the lower side of reps, but this is like the baseline that I'm hoping to try and establish to work from. Wasn't bad. Again, the limitations of this machine is that you hit the bottom before you'd actually get to like maximum knee extension, or flexion, not extension, knee flexion. But, you know, using that as a bit of a, instead of pausing the rep, using that like actual physical stop as the pause, and just as soon as you feel that, it's back up. It's never a bad thing, right? Because you're involuntarily stopping. So, similar, I suppose. We're gonna do one more rep and see if we can eke out another rep and maybe an eccentric. And then we are done for sissy squats. So, let's get it. Last little thing I'm going to do here is just a last little bit where let me hold myself here, just go to full extension. I normally wouldn't do this, but yeah, that's what I wanted to get to. Again, it's 4 days between now and my next leg day, so this volume is acceptable. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's sissy squats done. All right. Next thing on the list, which we don't need to change too much, is calf raises. So we'll just lower the weight a little bit, because we're going to do these unilaterally. And basically what I'm going to do is, instead of taking a rest period immediately after doing my squats, I'm just going to do my little warm-up for calf raises, and then I'm going to take a massive rest between doing the end of this little warm-up and the first set of calf raises, which is also the last set of calf raises. As you know, one set wonder. Here for a good time, not a long time, but only in the context of going to the gym. As the sissy squats, I'm very happy with them. You know, the technique isn't the best, but with the limitations we have, I'm quite happy with what we're able to do. So again, I normally do quite a long pause during the bottom of the eccentric of my calf raises. That will no longer be a part of my training program. I will, however, be doing a nice hold at the top of my calf raises, because that is the top of the concentric portion of the movement. And I think that will be better. Right, let's see what our working set is for today. Again, logbook. We did sissy squats, we did 82 for 4
with a 1 extra rep and 1 extra eccentric. I'm technically 3 extra eccentrics, but I'm not gonna count that extra stuff at the end there because it was body weight. Okay, calf raises, we're looking at 93 kilograms. Start with that, good stuff. So 93 kilograms. And we're looking at that for 4 reps, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be 4 reps. Cool, let's just stand up a little bit and give our back a rest, because again, we've been in that strange position as part of the movement. Okay. So, first set was excellent. Now we're gonna take a massive rest, which won't all be recorded. But for these calf raises, we're looking for, what was it, 4 or 5? 4 reps, 5 reps. We're going to try and go for 5 reps because I prefer to do more than 4 if I can. But it will be tough, definitely. But again, we're adjusting our technique, so I've made a note of that in my program, that any increases in like numbers are strictly due to technical change and not due to like overload, if that makes sense. So we're again just establishing a new baseline to work from, which is a completely fine thing to do. You know, if you realize you've been doing something wrong, you know, what are you gonna do? Just stay the way you are? No. But you need to temper what changes come as a result of that change, with knowing that it's probably not that, in that instance, any changes in reps or whatever you may do, probably not a result of progressive overload. It's just due to technical change. Right, we're gonna be smart with these because, of course, you know, you don't want to lose an ankle on this, or, you know, it's not likely to happen. I'm not lifting heavy enough weight for that to be the case, but we're doing 93 kilograms, I think, maybe more. Yeah, we're doing 96 kilograms. Yeah, 96 kilograms, nice. That's way more than I was expecting, actually. I might have, oh yeah, I wrote these in the wrong way. Whoops. Whoopsie. Cool. Well, in that case, we will try that 4 rep work then, because I did write these in the wrong way and I had the wrong expectations. That's okay. With that being said, I'm gonna pause up here, rest up, and we'll get into things in a second, or a minute. A while for me, less time for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have rested up plenty, so we're going to get into this now. I've actually changed the weight a little bit, so I've put a 2.5 kilogram plate on. I know you guys can't see my face, I apologize. I put 91 on the stack and put a 2.5 kilogram plate on. We're going to aim for 5 reps, and we'll just see how we do. Let's lock and load. Strapping myself in here because it's takeoff time. Okay, good shit. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't see my face, and I do apologize. One of the most important things you can do on a calf raise is eke out those extra partials in the lengthened position, even if they don't really feel like they're moving. As per a video by Jeff Nippard, which I probably will forget to link. He did a video on a study, because of course I acquire most of my information through science-based creators on TikTok. Doing those lengthened position partials is very beneficial to the calf's development. Okay, we're gonna do, you know, back into it. We got the 5 reps, but it was very tough. And now we're just gonna go, you know, probably get another rep out and eke out a shit ton of that super, super lovely, lovely, lovely stuff that we can do in the lengthened position. Okay. Very good. And that's calves on the left side done. Now we've just got calves on the right side. Again, going for the exact same quality of performance. The weight didn't fall off, so I'm very happy about that. We're going for 5 reps. This is going to be tough. And then we'll do whatever we can do after that. Let's see which of my calves is stronger. Oh, good. Good. So, sorry, this is a real screamer of a set, but I don't have any other way of articulating how to get myself to move than to, physically maybe jostle a little bit, but also just hut or scream, for lack of a more refined way of addressing it. And sometimes that's just what you gotta do, man. I always rue the day that I'm in a gym where screaming is not allowed, because I'm quite a loud individual. Okay, last set of this. Let's try and get some nice deep stretches and just push like we're trying to take off. Okay. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's all done. That was incredible, sensational, ludicrous, and my legs feel like they're gonna fall off. But we did fantastic work. That just goes to show, man, that's all you gotta do. That is the bare minimum required. That's all you got. Anything else? Oh. So that concludes our series of things and stuff inside this machine. We will now be vacating over to the sus machines 1 and 2 to continue our work. But as we do, let's have a conversation about how that went. And let's see where perchance I may place thine self. I think I'm gonna put you over here, actually. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I'm just gonna move you around. Hello, welcome. Oh, you're in the mirror. What am I doing? Hello. So calf raises were exceptional. Really, really good. I'm very, very happy with them. I'm so happy that I'm gonna write down what I did in my notebook, in my little logbook here. So we did 93.5 kilograms. We did 5 reps, and we did an extra 1 rep and an extra an extra eccentric. So, progress for next week, we'll try and get those up to 6 reps maybe, or, because actually, yeah, 6 reps might be a great metric, because that 5th rep is really difficult, especially on my right side, that, you know, going for a bit more reppage may be a really good idea. Let's see, any other comments that I wish to make about the set? Not really. Again, the most important thing that I think you can do on a calf raise is those last bits. Those extra pushes are just the place where I think a lot of the progress that you look to do is made. Let's see if I can pull you guys in a little bit more. There we go. Good. So, if you're looking to grow your calves, because they can grow, you just gotta train them with the most ludicrous intensity known to mankind. Not really. You just have to train them with the same level of intensity that you would with anything else. Now, this is gonna be the first time I've tried the sus machines with my super baggy trousers. But I already love these trousers. They're very, very comfortable. Okay. Also, this is gonna be a PSA to get your sus machine on. These two machines, the adduction and the abduction machines, I already know you guys don't do enough lateral movements. I know I certainly didn't. I already know your hips are tighter than a fucking cave diver's wet dream. So, please, this is a PSA, do some stuff. I'm only gonna do one more thing to lock in for this, so. Awesome. And I'll do one more stuff just to warm up on this side, but I don't know if you guys will see that. So just know that I'm still here, I'm still talking to you, but I am quite simply just doing a little final warm up, because again, I'm gonna superset these together. Not that the abduction machine needs much supersetting, because, well, I can pump these reps out like it's no one's business. There we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a long rest now. Let's go over what we've done so far. We've done a super awesome set of sissy squats. We went into a super awesome set of unilateral calf raises. Do I have any critiques for them? Well, aside from the obvious ones, like, you know, technical limitations, but what can I control? Not really, no. Would I do more sets of that? Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I worked so hard, I would not be able to replicate that kind of technique. And if I did have another leg day throughout this week, which would be insane if I had 3 leg days, then that would be a different story, but I do not. So, there we are. We're gonna, I think, leave it off here until I get into things, because I'm just rambling at this point. I want to rest up and make sure these are good. Because these, again, are our last 2 exercises of the session. So we got to make sure that we are bringing the same level of intensity that we did for the last 2 exercises into these 2. We don't want to be slacking. We've got goals to hit as high as those rep ranges may be. Like, it is out of necessity. And I hope you guys can see what I mean about the pin. It's got a walkway. So if you were to try and pin a weight, like, obviously the walkway is in the way, so you'd have to like use less weight and just stack a load of it. But again, there's a plastic shield on the side here which protrudes out, so I don't know how like safe that would be really. So limitations, but what are you gonna do? In any case, let's rest up and I will bring you back when it's time to rock and roll. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is go time. I think we're looking for 5 or 6 reps here. And we're looking for 9 or 10 reps over there. Let's get this. What was that, 6 reps? I have no idea. I think it was 6 reps, so that's good. Sorry, I'm gonna be throwing it back when I'm doing these. I'm so sorry. The only way I can do these properly is by fucking slamming my head back. Right, we got one more rep of this, and then it's over there, where we do some cardio. Okay. Here we go. All right. Cut to me being on the other apparatus. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get right into this. We got Prima Donna playing in the back. This is going to be very tough. But let's make sure we've got maximum extension. We are. Good. Would you do anything for me? Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Holy fuck. Come on. Come on. Okay, okay, okay. I apologize for the noises made herein. And please, no weird comments. I'm just about to finish up, man, so yeah, 100%. I think that was 8 reps and a tad, but we've got one more to go. We've got a whole lot of pain ahead of us. Okay. I swear. If I see any fucking weird comments, we're getting blocked. We had to work hard. Come on, there we go. Yeah. close. Oh, just close it. That is everything. Whew. Thank you very much, it's all yours. Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is sets done, dusted, over. And what good work we did. So, for those of you unfamiliar, I'm really not a fan of the adduction machine towards, because I have to do so many reps. I know I set 10 as my goal, but the thing with that is I'm always kind of having to adjust my technique, because I feel like the most important thing I can do is hold a squeeze at the top. And so I really have been prioritizing holding that squeeze, but you know, it's a means to an end. I would rather just have more weight. You know, that would be much, much better than doing the number of reps that I do. But, you know, that's what we got, that's what we can do, so we just make do with what we've got, right? You know, at the end of the day, you still train hard, you still train to failure, no matter what that looks like. And yeah, it's maybe less optimal than if I would be able, it's definitely less optimal than if I were training with a heavier weight, but currently I can't, so. You know, we have limitations, we work around them, we see what we can do, we improve, and we go from there. But that is the whole session. Le fini, we're done. Over, no more legs for this week. And the reason why I'm able to go a little bit more volume on this day is because I have 4 days now. I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's not until this time again on Monday that I will be training legs again. So I have at least 3 days to recover from this. And you know, when I prioritize intensity, for the most part, I have to do volume here. But I'm still prioritizing the intensity even within that volume. Then what are you gonna do, right? We do what we can. I mean, it's a lovely day as well, so that's always nice. You get to look outside and it's lovely and beautiful, but let's talk about quality of those last 2 sets. The adduction machine, abduction, because you're taking them away. Abduction machine, the first one we did, that was pretty damn good. I have numerous injuries across my body, but I've got a weird sensation one in like my glute, my right glute, my hip, my hamstring. So that does contribute to how hard I can go in this, but it felt really nice. And I don't know, I hope that the work that I'm doing is recovering that and healing that and making it stronger. I feel like it is, but the actual work itself was excellent. I think we got 6 reps, and actually, because I don't quite remember, I'm gonna write it down, because again, we got a logbook what we've done. So we did 93.5, I think it was, and we did that for 6 reps with 1 extra. And then for the other one, we did 8 reps with 2 extra, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 2, might have been 3, but here's the thing with this. I say this lightly, but I don't really care how many reps I do for these, because I prefer to do less. Now, that's a dangerous trap to fall into, because you want to log how many you've done so you can standardize. Be like, okay, I'm going to hold for this amount of time, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. You want to standardize your technique as much as possible. The reason why my technique's a little inconsistent at the moment is I don't know how long I want to hold the pause. Now again, I know I've talked a lot this week about pause reps, but what I've decided to do is anything which is an eccentric to a concentric, no pause. Anything that's a concentric to an eccentric, we're good. So what does that look like? Well, those were concentric to eccentric, so I'm able to pause. So are things like, let's have a see. I'm trying to actually think, it's very, very narrow. No, actually, I don't know if there are any other things in my program which are concentric to eccentric. No, rows are, and lat pulls. So they are concentric motion into eccentric motion. So I will hold that concentric. Obviously, I'm able to progress those other ones much better because I can just add more weight. These I can't, so what I'm doing is I'm holding for longer. Is that a good thing? Probably not. Probably just be better just to do more reps. I'll need to look into that. But I don't really like doing more reps.
I really don't, especially on legs. That's everything. We're gonna stretch out now. We're gonna finish up our session. Again, apologies about the hair. I know it's very emo, in case you don't know. I got a Clive Rossfield cosplay, Final Fantasy 16. They're very emo over there. So I gotta look the part, and I grow out my hair to do that. So for now, it's invisible eyes time. In any case, that is the high and low of today's session. I'm very proud of the work that I've put in, and now I'm just gonna stretch out so that I am just, you know, ready to recover for the weekend. Otherwise, you know, eat your food, be in your deficit, whatever it may be, and I got a food shop later, so I gotta get things wrapped up and head over to that. But you stay well, you stay safe, and will I be doing a little video on the way back? I don't really think so. There's nothing else really to talk about. I suppose we could do some posing before we finish out here. So if we do that, we can just pop you guys down here and double check the camera here. Let us X out of that, down here. Here we go. Lovely stuff. So, yeah, this whole time I've had shorts on underneath this because there's some creeps on the internet, and I'm not really a fan of training in my regular stuff. But you know, we've got nice chunk of flesh going on down here, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, I've been getting spots on my legs, so I'm not exactly sure what that's from. But we'll work that out. I'll do a full wash of everything that I've got. That's everything. Trousers are being pulled back up. We are done. Thank you very much. Stay well, stay safe, train hard, eat well, and love yourself. Ciao for now.